Good morning, Internet. Today is a Neea day. Neea is a genus of about 100 different species of tropical tree. The one used for bonsai is called Neea buxifolia. They grow very quickly, but they also grow very long and leggy, and they take quite a while to thicken. Sometimes you might see a Neea with a trunk 2, 3, 4 inches across. Those have almost always been collected out of the wild. But as you can see, if we pan up on this guy, it's very long, very leggy. This is the new growth right here. It comes out in like a tuft of new growth. You can see the same thing there. And so today I'm going to take and cut these guys way back. I've got another one right here, which I think I'll just bring the camera over. This is the one in the thumbnail. Got a pretty nice thick trunk, but they don't get a tremendous amount of taper. And if left to their own devices, they just grow like crazy. But they don't thicken. They root from cuttings fairly easily, especially in the summertime. Remember, this is a tropical tree, so if you live in an area that gets cold winters, you're going to need to give it some kind of cold protection. This is a group of cuttings, and you can see how thin they are. They've already begun to grow, so they've rooted out very nicely. You can see they're all very thin. And I will keep these in here and just let them grow. Typically when I see new growth, that means that you've got root formation. Then I actually may even give them a little bit of fertilizer, even while they're still in the cutting mix. In the past, I have taken cuttings only as small as the ones that I just showed you. But I have seen larger cuttings, as thick as a pencil, or even more, that rooted. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to take cuttings from both of these guys, plus I have some more, and I'm going to attempt to root even thicker cuttings, which will save me a lot of time when it comes to branch thickness. So right away I'm going to take this guy off, all the way. And that's because I want actually I need to take even more off. Alright, there we go. That's a lot better. You can see what I'm trying to do now. And also this guy's just in a colander that you drain vegetables. They're okay, but it's starting to crack apart. The plastic is not very UV tolerant. But this guy has a decent trunk. And I'm going to leave this as the first main branch, but cut it way back too. And I may even leave this little guy right here to eventually take the place of this one, because this is so thick compared to the trunk. Sometimes if you leave branches that get really thick, they can look out of proportion as the tree gets older. And then I have to decide where I want to go up here. I'm honestly thinking of just bringing it to this, which is coming right at us, but that would create a tremendous amount of taper, and these things grow really quickly. So I think I'm going to do that. Just chop the whole thing off. And I'm going to need to cut this. I'm taking these cuttings and putting them into some water just temporarily. But within the next few minutes I will be adding the rooting hormone and sticking them into rooting soil. And then I guess we'll give this guy a little bit of a haircut. And a sacrifice branch? Maybe. Got a back branch. Gonna remove, shorten. And that didn't take long. And this is part of the process for me, is I let a plant grow like crazy and then cut it way back. And I have some stubs here and here because I use just regular clippers. So I will get my concave cutters and make those cuts smoother. So that's it for number one. And I'm thinking very seriously of either putting this in the ground and letting it go, or putting it into a larger pot. The colanders are okay, but see, once again here, it's all breaking up and cracking apart because the type of plastic is just not UV tolerant. Hey, there's a different front. Maybe that might make an interesting front. And that's the beauty of bonsai, is you're always looking to the future. Then we've got this critter here, which is similar. Maybe we can bring it up a little bit. And I'm going to give it pretty much the same treatment. We've got a choice between two. Let me get this guy out of the way. I may actually say this is a sacrifice branch. We've got a choice between two different first main branches. This one or this one. And once again, normally you want to keep the smaller one and take the larger one off, because 20 years from now this larger one will be too big in comparison to the trunk. Right now I'm going to leave both because I haven't really decided, and that's another thing that I do quite a bit. If I really haven't decided what I want to do, I just wait. You can always make the decision later. Then this part of this branch is shooting back, and we really don't want that. And this little growth here is also kind of weird, so we're going to take it off. And now my clippers are too big. Need my more precise clippers for that guy. And then, it has the perfect woodcrest bonsai movement that I like. So I'm going to take the apex to about there. And this is going to be my first main branch. So I'm going to cut this guy here. And then cut back the first main branch, or the second main branch, I mean. And I initially started with Neea by taking cuttings off of a tree that a guy was trimming, much like this. It was a big finished tree. And I started with cuttings, all this size. This was the size of the cuttings. Just tiny. Strip off the lower limbs and some root hormone and put it into media. And they grew nicely, but now I'm going to have the opportunity to have much, much thicker cuttings. And I've seen them root. I've seen other people root them, so I'm pretty confident that I'm going to get some good results. So let's bring this guy back into the frame. Going to cut that to there. So both first main branches are following the exact same line. So one day one of them will come off. Now you want your first main branches at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, so this guy's going to need to be wired like that. And Neea, one thing about Neea is they are very flexible when they're young, but when they get to about pencil thickness, there's no way you're going to bend them babies. So I really need to get to wiring this guy into place before it gets too thick to wire. So there you go. If you live in a tropical place or you have good cold protection for tropical trees, I highly recommend Neea. They're a cool plant. One really interesting part of their growth is that you never need to do any kind of leaf miniaturization because that's as big as the leaves ever get. So there's my thumb. That's it. So you can have a tree 4 or 5 inches across, collected out of the wild. That's just massive, and the leaves will all be this tiny. So leaf miniaturization is never an issue with Neea. So that's it for this video. I have many, many more, but it'd just be redundant, just clipping them and taking the cuttings. And I think I'm going to be very selective and just take the thickest cuttings I can. If you are going to take cuttings, it needs to be in the middle of summer, when it's hot and humid. And other than that, if you live in a tropical area, they're a great tree. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe and you can watch these guys and the cuttings. I'll show you when the cuttings root. You can watch these guys develop and leave a comment if you'd like. And that's it, Neea, great tropical tree. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.